Hello, everybody. Welcome in. We're going to give everyone a little bit of a chance to filter in and get comfy. Hopefully everyone is done digesting their Thanksgiving meals. Once you get in, feel free to drop what your favorite dish was from over the weekend. Hopefully we had some good ones. You can also drop where you're from. We always love to see where everyone's coming from. Let us know in the chat. We love to hear about it all.
Gary, did y'all do turkey for Thanksgiving?
We did do turkey. We went to my parents Wednesday night. I had pizza and wings though, so that was a nice change. But then we did have the regular turkey. I know you have a hot take about turkey being garbage, but
You're taking that out of context. I'm very specific about how it's prepared because I've had some dry turkey in the past. I'll just say that.
I gotcha. Are you a dark meat or a white meat guy?
Dark.
Me too.
Yeah, 100%.
I like the white meat. All right, yeah. But this, I don't know, I'm not gravy, so it was okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
My mother-in-law makes a mean stuffing, so that's what we were excited about.
Do you put the in the turkey to cook it?
She doesn't,
Good.
which is surprising.
No, that's good.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right.
Hot take about that. So don't cook the stuffing inside the bird.
All right, we have North Dakota and some coconut cream pie. We are seeing people from Texas. Alex from
sirloin steak.
Alex. Wayland Baptist. Hello. Beef tip sirloin steak. Mary By, I am going to be coming to your Thanksgiving next year.
I know.
Hello, everyone. Hello. Come on in. Minnesota North College. Prime rib. There we go.
Rub it in, Tommy. Rub it in for the rest of us. That's a nice Thanksgiving.
Margie, I love the peanut butter pie. I had a few years ago a peanut butter pie live tweet action that I made. So you can go ahead and find those Gary Mix peanut butter pie hashtags if you want to go try to find that from 12 years ago.
We make the peanut butter pie, but we use the like the Oreo cookie pie crust with the peanut butter. And oh my gosh, I think that was like one of the best pies I'd ever had in my life. First time we made that. Some chocolate shavings on top, even though like you can't even really taste it. There's just something about throwing them on top there that just really takes it to the next level, you know?
Love it.
Presentation.
All right. Now that everyone's had a chance to drop in, say hi, we're going to go ahead and get started. So first comes first. Welcome to Cadence Campus Live. I always like to imagine people saying that out loud as I say it too. So if you're new to the program, welcome. This is a monthly 30-minute webinar series that's giving you the chance to spend some time with the people behind Mongoose, including your friendly client success managers or your favorite implementation specialists, as well as other Cadence users. Today, we're going to be talking about the power of automation and some wonderful updates that Cadence has seen recently or will be coming soon, all of which are going to make your jobs easier and save you time. So speaking of the people behind Mongoose, joining me today are two of those people, Jeff Campese, Associate Product Manager, and Caleb Haynes, Account Manager. Gentlemen, do you want to say a couple words about what you do here? Jeff, we'll start with you.
Sure. Yeah, I'm an associate product manager here at Mongoose. Work mostly with our design team and our team engineers. And we build the thing that you guys use called Cadence. So we listen to the problems that you have and try to work with our tools to make it a little bit easier for you.
And my name is Caleb Haynes. As an account manager, I work to support our partners in optimizing their text and communication strategy in the platform. And I also work to support the rest of the account-related activities for new features that might be coming out and putting those on your radar and showing you how you could potentially be using those. So it's a pleasure to meet everybody.
Love it. All right. Thanks, guys. I'm excited to go over what we are going to be covering today. And speaking of which, for For those tuned in, feel free to throw in any and all questions into our Q&A. We'll be gathering those up to answer either live. Also joining me today is Ashley, who is on our support team. She'll be able to answer some of those questions for you right in the chat, or we'll be able to answer them live as well. So right in the Q&A, just throw them in there as they come up. Ashley, thank you. And we're going to get rolling into it a little more. Friendly reminder, today is Tuesday, so not only does it mean Cadence Campus Live, but it also means for your institution. New episodes are released every Tuesday. Higher ed experts are joining our host, Gil Rogers, and they talk about all sorts of hot topics in higher ed. This week's episode focuses on the latest research in student perspectives and experiences with their online STEM courses. So super interesting episode. Make sure you go tune into that. And now we are going to get into the good stuff. So my first is over to Jeff. We're going to go over some major updates that Cadence is seeing. And the first one is segments. So can you talk a little bit about that one?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's best to start with kind of how we get to the point of working on segments and getting to some of these new developments. And all of it is really guided by the user feedback that we get from our clients. Here at Mongoose, we have a couple of different ways of getting that feedback, which a lot of it comes in through your check-in calls with your CSM or your client success team. We built a communication channel for them internally so that they can kind of feed that information to us. And this is kind of what it looks like when we get to it. So in this case, James, we blocked out some information just in case they didn't want to see it. But James loved our segments, but he needed to create 9 different segments in order to create one message. And that's really not effective when you're trying to target your market. So then Lindsay kind of had something similar, just a little bit more specific with the solution that she was looking for, where she said that we want you to use and or conditions in the segment building. So really, we take a look at that. We know that segments are already heavily used, and we kind of build on that. So then when we look at other feedback, it doesn't need to be this specific, but one user took it kind of into their own hands to take a screenshot of our product and send it back to us and say, like, this is specifically what I'm looking for in this. And then really we want to hear what your problem is, but this is awesome and helping us kind of decide where we're going, because we can make all the educated guesses that we want, but really the feedback that we receive from the users who are in the product every day using it, that's really going to outweigh anything that we can do on our own. And I think we can kind of make up on our own. So what we do is we kind of take something like this and then we start drawing it out. Our design team takes a look at it. So using that same example of this user needed 3 segments to create one, this is how it can kind of look in our system. So you see 3 down to 1 segment that's significantly more efficient. So James could take this same scenario and kind of make it a larger segment to kind of meet what it needs. So then after that, we could put it back into our system and kind of ship it out to users, and that's what segment looks like today. So many of you have probably already seen this. It's been out for a couple months now, but again, this came directly from our user feedback from the beginning to the end, and you can kind of see some flavors from what some of the users sent to us is kind of how it made up here.
Love it. Squeaky wheel gets the oil, as my mom always says.
Yes.
Caleb, I have a question for you. Jeff mentioned that segments are one of our most used features. Why do you think that is?
I'd be happy to answer that question. And it ties into what has made Mongoose and our partners that have texted with us so successful. And that's that across 950 plus institutions, we have learned and can verify that personal outreach is the most effective outreach. So the more opportunities you have to personalize a message, you're going to minimize the number of students that you have opting out. You're going to maximize the number of students that are responding and paying attention to your messages, because it's their perception that I'm sitting here directly on my phone and sending them a text message directly to their phone about whether it's the admissions process or enrolling in classes or about how they can get connected with our alumni network. And whenever you receive a message that's personalized like that, again, you're less likely to opt out. They just receive an overall higher level of engagement. So segments are one of the first steps in achieving that personalization in the Mongoose platform. So we've completely eliminated the all or nothing type of approach to communication. Segments really lets you hone in on a very specific group of people to ensure that you can customize the message as closely as you possibly can to the content of the message and the people you're communicating with. So it keeps us all super effective whenever it comes to communicating and really lets us narrow down on a specific target. And at this point, everyone is well aware that the more targeted your outreach can be, the more effective it's going to be. So that's why segments is such a popular feature. And then from there, you have the rest of the features in the Mongoose platform that are at your disposal that you can combine on top of segments to give you more functionalities around whether automation or overall efficiency.
So Jeff mentioned that there was a lot of feedback, and that's what we use to kind of shape what segments is now today. But you as an account manager get a lot of like, well, how do I best use this kind of thing? So can you kind of walk through what are some of the best ways that you've seen not only segments, but some of our other features that you've seen have been best used and that have been really effective?
Sure. One of those is combining the tagging feature in Cadence with the segments feature in Mongoose. So if you're not already aware that there's a tagging feature that exists in our platform that allows you to identify specific groups of people at a later date. And these tags could be wrong number, it could be request additional information, or FAFSA questions, or some other type of needed follow-up. And you can build a segment based off of people who have been tagged with any one of these specific tags that your team has the ability to customize. So being able to combine those two will help you target a group of individuals a little bit more quickly, but it's not something that I've seen used as often in the platform as I would like, honestly. So if I could recommend one feature or functionality that people look into, it's how to combine the tagging feature in Cadence and then using that to build segments for follow-up communications. Another functionality that I think could be better capitalized on is taking the results of your smart messages and turning around and reusing those results to send an additional follow-up. So like you might be aware, smart messaging right now is a yes or no question. Responses for yes, responses for yes, and responses for no are entirely automated. What you might not be aware of is that you can export the results of these smart messages, copy the mobile numbers, and repaste them into another segment. And the amount of work is super minimal, and you could be retargeting a group of people who have either responded positively to a question in the past or negatively to a question in the past. So if you have somebody that responds favorably to a smart message, or a group of people who have responded favorably to a smart message, we make it super easy to be able to copy and paste those mobile numbers in and send them a quick follow-up. So, like today is Giving Tuesday, we think you send a smart message, are you interested in making a gift? Yes or no. You might have 250, 350, 3,500 people potentially responding with a yes or a no response. It would be super easy to copy those mobile numbers back into a segment and say, hey, thanks so much for, responding back to us and participating in Giving Day this year. We just wanted to highlight your contribution and thank you so much for your continued support. So between combining tags and segments and smart message results and segments, those are the two areas that I would probably recommend looking at that don't seem to be as utilized as they could be, I think, for a lot of teams.
It's almost like you're able to kind of create segments based off of your segments to really hyper hone on those people that are the most responsive to kind of get them to do the action that you want them to do.
Sure.
So that's a great segue. You mentioned smart messages. That's actually what we're going to talk about a little bit next. You've brought up another piece of automation that we have in our platform now, and we've seen some big updates in. Can you kind of walk me through those, Jeff?
Yeah, so as Caleb was saying, the yes or no questions, it's one of our most engaged message types. The call to action is relatively clear. It's easy to respond with. And with the engagement level so high on the smart messages that it made sense to add additional question types, which we will be releasing extremely soon. So you'll still have access to the yes or no question that you're familiar with, which in case you missed the little subtle update that we released earlier in the year, the yes or no question also works with the thumbs up and the thumbs down emoji, which was user feedback. They wanted to kind of do a little, yep, or this, unfortunately.
Well, hopefully not.
So with that being said, we got a lot of thumbs up based on the yes or no question types. So additional question types coming down the line, and we felt that like going back to segments, you can be so deliberate now that you can really fine tune the outreach, and then you can go a little bit further with some of the question types that we have. So last month we sent out that new smart message type to anybody who texted in. We used the multiple choice question and act like a poll. So what do you want to learn more of coming next month? So some other examples that we have coming down the line. The first one is the like scale. So go ahead, flip to that one.
Explain to me, like, I don't know what the Likert scale is. Can you
Yes,
talk to me
no,
about that?
absolutely. So Likert scale is the official name of the 1 to 5 sentiment rating. And in this case, the replies are very open-ended, so you can kind of cater to what you want. So how likely would you attend, or maybe like how likely would you recommend alumni weekend? So in this case, like how likely are you going to attend our alumni weekend next year again? Other questions on a scale of 1 to 10, how awesome is Gary? Which obviously wouldn't fit the 1 through 5. We want like an 8 or a 9, but we'll get there. So each reply, you can trigger the message back. So just like yes or no, each 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 would be a different answer to send back, or you can make them the same depending on what you're kind of doing, with different call to actions on each one. So in this case, 1, why do you feel this way? Where 5 is like, hey, that's great. Why do you feel that way? So it's asking the same feedback, but a different feeling based on the sentiment. Along with that, like we teased, the multiple choice question, I think is going to be pretty cool. So in this case, this one came directly off of some user feedback. Your admissions office were looking for a little bit of a nudge towards the application process. So, hey, you've been awarded this financial aid. Are you still interested in joining? Like, why haven't you finished that process? What can we do to push you over the finish line? So that first one is like, I got it. I don't need help. B, I absolutely need help. Or C, I'm no longer interested. So you can kind of stop communicating with C. Maybe you reach out to B with one of those follow-up tags, and A, maybe you follow up maybe at a delayed period. So again, you segment that segment a little bit more, and then kind of get that communication directly on for the people who need it. All the question types had that same reporting page, but we kind of enhanced it a little bit. So there'll be a little bit more of a graphic, a little bit easier to figure out who said what, a little bit easier to kind of sort through that and then be in charge of that information that you now have.
That's awesome. Caleb, my question for you now is, seeing these updates, can you kind of think of any examples where you think this would be useful compared to just a simple yes or no? Like, what kind of like effectiveness could you see using these different responses?
Sure. Like Jeff said, this is all based off of user feedback. So we have tons of feedback from users saying we want multiple choice options, and we want a 1 to 5 numeric scale. Some of the events that I would see most popular here, and some of the situations that are initially brought up some of this feedback, is something like availability for orientation dates, availability for on-campus visits. It could be, are you still planning to enroll? The multiple choice option would be great for that too. A, yep, I'm good. B, no, I'm having a little bit of problems. I have questions. Or C, I'm not enrolling in courses. And then you could follow up from there. Young alumni polls, if we're looking at advancement specifically, sending out a poll to all of your young alumni saying, hey, congratulations on graduation. Could you be so kind as to let us know what area of campus you feel most connected with? And you can take these results, export again the smart message results, and you can put this information to work whenever your institutional giving day comes up, or you have another touch point where you want to reach out to see if somebody's willing to reconnect or engage with the institution even after graduation. So tons of polling for different availability types of touch points, young alumni polls, and there's a lot of other ones that I'm sure our users will come up with in between now and whenever this feature is actually live in the platform. But those are the few that come to my mind off the top of my head.
Yeah, I think this is definitely something that can kind of be used across the student journey, right? You can give them like these enrollment nudges, you can give them little polls after they graduate, and then obviously you can give them a little help when they're in the middle of their semesters, when they're still on your campus. So a lot of options that you can do. So my next question then, Jeff, is there anything next? What's next for auto replies? What's coming next? Is there anything that you can share from your board?
Yeah, auto replies is one of these hidden features that we gave it a little bit of a facelift earlier, just kind of cleaned up the UI a little bit, but can't be too specific, but there should be multiple auto replies coming soon. Take that for, hopefully relatively soon. Smart messages, I believe, will be this week. Auto replies maybe in the next couple weeks after that. After auto replies, though, we are looking to do a little bit more what you would blanket in like automation. So I think last month's Cadence Campus with the team from JSU had a lot of good use cases about how they want to automate things based on like status changes. So my application is suddenly complete. I want to send some communication to the prospect to just let them know, hey, we got this. We'll be in touch. Here's the next step. So any of those touch points that you necessarily have that you want to automate, we're looking for more use cases. So if you can get a hold of your CSM or whoever you don't necessarily talk to, if you're meeting with support, let them know your use cases for those. Or anything that you want to fire off based off of like a recurring message that somebody gets maybe multiple times. One example was like appointment reminders. So I want to message my students 3 days before their counseling appointment, and then I want to message them 3 days after. It's kind of like a follow-up, or maybe 3 days before your open house day. So we're looking for all these use cases. We want to make sure that we capture all of them as we're doing this work. We are very much in the beginning of the research phase, so now is a good time to kind of speak up and let us know what you need from us, because we want to make sure that we do something that's pretty powerful for you.
Yeah. If you have any ideas of what you think you're going to be doing with these, throw them in the chat. We want to hear how you guys think this is going to be best used for you. Shout out to Dusty in the chat as well, who did not realize that you could create segments from tags. Dusty, one of our power users, and this is why we have these. So we're glad that we can help out with any and everybody. So yeah, can you, Jeff, do you want to maybe spiel about, is there anything else that the product team is working on that we can give a little sneak peek going into the new year?
Yeah, I mean, we're always looking at incremental updates on different things. So right now, I believe there's some Slate integration changes that might be coming down the line on the chat side. So the text side of the house has already had a Slate integration. We've gotten feedback that, hey, we use both Cadence text and chat. It's one product now. Like, can we get the integration to be a little bit further and more complete? So we're looking to kind of piece all that together, and really we look at all your feedback. So down to even like the template pages, we had a bunch of feedback about, hey, your template page is a little outdated. Can we get some sorting? Can we get some filtering? And we were able to make a lot of people's day, and that released about a week ago, very quietly. Some of these are very quiet, but keep an eye on the little notification bell in the Cadence. We try to put a lot in there and help you out with keeping up to date with what we're doing.
Not so quiet anymore.
Hopefully not quiet.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So we do have a question from Heather. She has a question. Is there any plan on updating the app on our phones? Can we talk a little bit about our app and what we can maybe do in there? What's it maybe coming from that perspective?
Yeah, we did a little bit of Android updates with the new Google Play Store that came out. We were kind of put under some pressure for some authentication, some SSO changes, and just really refreshing it. Unfortunately, not a lot of new features came into that app, so that's probably what Heather's referring to, is like it's bare bones right now. We are kind of researching what we want to do with that, how much we want to put in there, and maybe make it less of an app and more of like a responsive web app. So that you have 100% of Cadence in something like that, as opposed to limited features, just because some of the features that we have, we really can't emulate that in an app as well as we can in a normal browser.
Love it. So we have about 7 minutes, it looks like, left. Please, if you guys have questions, this is why we're here. We want to make sure that you're getting any and all things answered from us. So please feel free to throw them in.
I saw it. Ashley did answer it, but someone was asking about how soon multiple choice and the auto and the Likert scale will be coming out. It'll be this week, so it'll come out in the next couple of days. You'll be able to have it at the end of the week. You can queue up your winner messages using the new message types.
Yeah. Dusty has a question for us now as well. She has the texting set up to integrate with our CRM, but have not yet set up with chat to integrate. Should I wait until the improvements you just mentioned? I can jump in and tell you, no, you don't have to wait. You can set up that with your favorite implementation specialist of choice, whoever that maybe is. And then we can also hop on a call with someone from our development team, and they'll be able to kind of sit down with us and be able to kind of pinpoint what you want to go where, and anything like that. So definitely don't need to wait. And then those improvements will just kind of be able to go automatically right in. And we don't have to worry about it once it's already set up. So Jeff, anything else to add?
No, if it happens to be Slate that you're using, we like you to kind of contact us a little bit sooner than later so that we can get more people on there. It's definitely very new to the point that I don't have all the details. So it'd be great to have somebody working with us to make sure that this works for everybody.
We are always looking for guinea pigs to help us out and make the product exactly what it is that you want it to be. so that we can make it the best as well. So if you're ever interested in adding or improving anything, get in touch with us and we'll be able to help you out for sure.
Yeah, and to the point, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. In this case, if you're the early squeaky wheel, you get to pick the type of grease.
Exactly. I like that. All right. Normandy says, this will be something new for my office, so excited to learn as much as I can. We love to hear that too. Any types of training, any types of best practices, we have that all available for you. All you have to do is email one of your pod members, your mod members. You can definitely get in touch with us there and we'll be able to help you out with whatever it is that you guys need too. From a text perspective, chat perspective, whatever you guys need, we're here to help. Any other questions, please feel free to throw them into the chat. We have about 4 minutes left. Any other comments? Caleb, do you have anything else to add? Do you have a favorite feature that you have liked that you've seen that you think has like a big effect on positive outcomes?
I was literally, we've been talking about smart messages so much throughout this conversation, but I was going to bring up smart messages just because I think a lot of teams would be really surprised at the time-saving capabilities that smart messages hold. We have many partners that text anywhere from 500 to 5,000 people at a time, depending on, your team and your institution and the size and some other factors like that. But let's just assume that you send a text message to 1,000 people and you use a smart message. So, just pretending right now it's yes or no, you might have 250, 300 positive responses potentially, which certainly wouldn't be unheard of in Cadence. Think about the time it would take to sit there and manually type 200 to 300 text message responses. We can automate that entirely through the smart message feature, not only with yes or no, but with multiple choice options and the Likert scale, like what we're introducing. So, I mean, if we're talking about a minute per conversation that you responded to, we could be looking at 250 to 300 minutes potentially of time saved through just sending a message through the smart message feature, as opposed to just maybe from your individual inbox or something like that. So I just wanted to give that feature some credit for the amount of time savings that it could potentially have on your team. And it gets a lot of love. You're prompting people to respond, so it's a higher response rate. There's a lot of advantages to sending messages through a smart message, whereas it's not all or nothing. Like I said, there's times where you want to reach out personally through your individual inbox for a really tight one-on-one conversation, but I would certainly encourage everybody to look at the smart messages, especially within the next few days with the enhanced functionality, because the opportunity to save time is huge. And if there's one thing that we hear from all of our partners, is that we don't have enough time or we don't have enough staff. So that's a great way to sort of alleviate that pain point.
Yeah, to your point about still having those personal connections, a lot of the feedback that we hear is like, we want to automate the first part of the funnel and then be able to have more time for that individual communication that really is the return on our investment. So the smart messages, the auto replies, the tags, it automates the first half of the communication funnel. So then once you get to the people that you actually need to communicate with, you have time to focus on that, as opposed to sending that 200, 300 messages to blanket just to get the information that you need. So this isn't meant to take away that personal touch. It's meant to give you more time to focus on that in the long run.
Right. This is just a supplement.
Yep, exactly. And I like the point of where you can kind of have your chat and your text work a little closer together, is that you can put in those trigger words for your smart messages, for your auto replies, right into your chatbot flow, and they would maybe only know that word if they came to your chatbot and were chatting with it. And you can have that be what kind of allows your team to follow up with them. You can have them be targeted to a specific visitor type, to a specific student type, or even wherever they are in your application status. You can have them text you something for this kind of response to come to them. And it's just another way of engaging them as they go through your funnel and move along, kind of thing. So we are almost right at time. So I just want to give everyone a big thank you for taking the time to join us today, especially on such a busy day, given Tuesday. Friendly reminder again about FYI, make sure you go check them out as well. We are going to be taking a break next month for the holiday break as well. So we will be back in January. You can join myself as well as my A1 since day one, Alex. We are going to be talking a lot about data and using data to kind of drive a lot of your decisions as well. So it's definitely something to look forward to. So everyone, thank you again for coming, and we will see you next time. Be safe over your break, and we'll see you soon.